show. I has Pepper,
Good morning.
for better or for worse. So
You make it sound like you're married to me, guy.
you
Jeez.
know, sometimes it kind of feels that way. I'm just saying.
Eh, but not an ideal match.
No, no. I think part of it would be that we'd have a weird relationship.
Yeah,
I apologize.
I believe we would basically equate it to we were Omi-eyed. That's the only thing I can think of.
Right?
And for those who don't know, an Omi-eye is a Japanese wedding that is an arranged marriage.
Yep. Something is dropping out again. This is
Well,
a
it ain't gonna.
rough morning for all of us. Woo, doggy. This is a rough morning. My lights have been screwed up all day, noticing that it's not set up straight because the colors are all Autobot. I mean, to boot, I have. No, still didn't make it. There we go.
Yeah.
Wow, that was rougher than it needed to be.
My allergies are like really kicking up today, so
I am getting over Concrud. So I got
you
Concrud.
got Concrete too.
Yeah, I got a Concrud. Did you get a Concrud?
Well, I've been thinking it's all this week. It's been allergies. It may have been a Concrete. I don't know yet.
This went past allergies. It went into rattles in my stomach or my chest, which I don't usually get.
Well, you know what? Then it's definitely I'm getting through Concrete because like I have like this pain in my chest, like lower chest, that's abnormal.
Yeah, it might be something to think about.
Oh, because of the fires. Okay, that makes sense, Andrew.
Oh yeah. That's true. That's true.
Wait,
I didn't even think about that. That's a good
yeah.
point. That's a solid point. Um, I didn't even think about that at all. Me? Maybe here? I'm trying to do the plotting thingy that we talked about, or that I found. 1, 2, 3, up to here. So I will show this in a second when I am done drawing the connecty lines. There we go. Oh yeah, well that makes sense. That makes some sense. I'm completely blocked up too. All right. So going to the Aloha Manga School or whatever webpage is the guy who's on there is a mangaka, and he really interestingly illustrated the 3-act structure of storytelling. For those of you who are, yeah, but how it rolls out in manga. And I love this because this shows a very clear setup of how this all works. For those of you who were not on the show yesterday, when I talked about this with Brian, the 3-act structure is sort of classic storytelling. We have an incident occurs. Hang on real quick, I'm clearing my throat. So let's just use a blue marker for this. An incident occurs. This is the story plot. Whatever happens, Pepper and I are walking through the forest when we see a fey ring, right? That has power coming out of it. Okay, no problem. So then we discuss the fey ring and what happens, what should we do, and we decide that the solution to this is to pour salt on the fey ring. I don't know. I'm just coming up with things. So we pour salt on the fey ring, but instead it explodes. So now we have to come up with a better solution for the fey ring problem. and that's the end of the story. And that's a classic three structure. Almost every story that's ever written is generally done in one of these three act sort of designs, all the way back to Greek stories do this. You tragedies on this pattern.
I just want to point out, I do not recommend actually. Hey, cat. I just want to point out, if you put salt in a fey ring, I'm running because we're gonna make this story realistic. I'm gonna run the other way and like leave you there to fight the fae that basically come out of it angry.
Right, exactly. Using brushes and that's us. Yes, we are. Do you want to join us? If you do, give me a link. You can join us anytime. Cats keep out in the forest, so YouTube sit all day long talk about forest. She's wrong. Okay, I'll send you. Well, apparently I'm not going to send you a link because
Can you send her? Can you send her an invite to our art chat? It is the Pepper Show today. Oh, is Guy not coming through properly for you guys?
oh, yeah,
This is the Pepper Show, not the Pepper Show. I don't know. Okay, so definitely copy. And at this point, he's gone. Um, so we're having the story structure. And I don't know if I'm actually thinking that on Facebook or anything. So I keep sending the link, so I don't know if it's that way. We'll just have to wait on that. Yeah. So I guess the story structure that he was talking about, I actually did it a few times. I do like it. It's very fun. It's done in manga a lot, but it's done in a lot of art with Pepper and messages from Bill. I don't know on how, if it's just me, if messages from Bill would really work, because it's usually Bill and Guy talking the entire time. Um, so yeah. I mean, he does write the story for our comic and such. So hi, Ghostin. Yeah, he may have to be calling a priest and a young one and an old one in order to get his computer back up and running. Messages from the other side, lol. Yeah. Um, Kind of reminds me of like writing a story with that one, similar to Poltergeist, which surprisingly enough, I talked about storytelling this morning through a drive-through
there we go.
with this movie called Thanksgiving. Anyone seen it? Don't spoil it. It is a horrible BC type horror genre teen trope scary movie that is utterly ridiculous and hilarious because it's not scary at all, and it's based around Thanksgiving and a radioactive turkey. So, gotta say, you'll love every moment of it if you like cheesy, like horror things. So, hey, it's Guy.
I fixed it, I think. Mostly I just turned off my Wi-Fi and then rebooted everything. I think part of the problem is I must have too many goofy, weird things going on. I'm gonna add cat. I have too many weird, goofy things going on in my browser that I think that when I open Facebook, it does something really weird.
Yeah, sometimes streaming gets really weird. Can you guys hear me okay?
I can hear you. I can hear you. We can't see you, though.
I don't have a webcam, that's why.
Ah, okay.
My computer doesn't naturally have one, and my old one, the wires have broken, and so I need to get a new one. I just haven't gotten it yet. Moving
Works.
messed it up.
Mm.
It got
So you
crushed.
moved out to the boonies.
Oh, I did, but I actually initially moved to Florida, and then I moved back to Tennessee. So I'm in Tennessee now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Where in Florida did you move?
A place called McClenny. Do you know where that is?
Is that a
About-
little bit more north?
Yeah, it's about an hour west of Jacksonville.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so kind of like between Lake City and Jacksonville. That's where I was, and it was like 30. It was so far out in the boonies. There was no cell phone signal. That's how
Yeah,
far out it was.
There's a lot of places in Florida that are like that. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I don't recommend going to Florida if you haven't done research of where the cell phone service is.
Well, the thing was I was living with my roommate's family. It was supposed to be just temporary. But after I moved there, because I initially had lived in Sarasota when I went to art school, so I was planning on going back down there. But when I started looking at prices, like literally as I moved is when the spike happened. So my old apartment had been like about $600 when I was living there as a student, and the same apartment was now over $900.
Yeah.
Was out of my budget, and so I was like, oh, okay. And so I was like, well, that should be fine. There were lots of places that were really cheap when I was living here. And there was nothing, not even a studio. Like the only studio I found was still like $750, and it was like 270 something square feet.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. During I want to say, like my sisters ended up, like one sister ended up trying to basically renting a house during the whole pandemic and everything, and she works with like people who build buildings and stuff like that. So, like for her, like I think she found a space that was normally like before the pandemic was like $900, and then it like spiked during the pandemic. It spiked to like almost just under 2,000.
Jeez.
And that's in Palm Beach County, which is south, and it's like one of the largest counties in Florida.
That sounds about right in terms of pricing that I was seeing. That's absolutely wild. Hey, Colton. Been a while since I talked to you.
Hey, Colton.
Hey, how's it going?
It's Cat.
Oh shit! Okay, I'm saying like
Sorry.
the voice sounds so familiar.
That's me. Yeah, I don't have a webcam at the moment. When I moved, some of my tech got damaged, and my webcam was one of them, and my laptop doesn't natively have one.
Oh. Okay.
Guy, if you're gonna put out a link, put out my YouTube. I don't stream on Twitch anymore.
Okay.
Let me grab you
Well,
a
I have
link.
to go edit it, though.
Oh, that's fine. Sorry about that. Sorry for the trouble.
It's okay.
Yeah, I was sitting here. I was like, okay, we got another person. I was like, God, this voice sounds so familiar. Who is this?
Are you branded right? I mean, if I just put at Art Crumbs, will that work?
Yeah, at Art Crumbs is generally right. Sometimes, like, Art Crumbs with one S is already taken, depending on the platform, but just one S is fine for most places.
So we can find you.
Yeah, that'll do.
You have been doing some spectacular work recently, by the way.
Thank you.
I really love your new pages because I've been like totally following them. Well, real quickly, hey Hone, we've got like new people popping in here. Colton's here. Donald, I hope I'm not choppy anymore. I hope you're okay. And we didn't want to not say hi to Hone.
Hey, I held the show while you were dealing with your router.
I
and
know.
all that
I know.
stuff,
You did
okay?
a great job. What was so
I hope I
weird
did a great job.
was everything was frozen here, but the audience comments kept rolling on the screen. And so it was very strange.
That's fine.
Mm.
I left the back door open so they come in and out, but it's
Okay.
raining, so.
Yeah, if you need me to go get them or anything, just text me.
Okay. All right. Well, they should be fine.
Okay, cool. Thank
The
you.
little things open.
All right, if you need me to do anything or run to the store or whatever, just let me know.
I mean, I can't think of it. I mean, if you want to unload the dishwasher and start loading it, you can.
Okay.
But I'll probably be back about 2.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I'll shut the big door too.
What's going on over in Kent's world?
Sorry.
Nah, sounds like roommate chatter. That's what. It sounds
Yeah,
like.
Normal roommate chatter.
basically.
You know, you'd think that would end when you don't have roommates anymore, except I think my wife getting the wings to tell me to go do the dishes too.
Yeah.
Change.
Are you?
Mhm.
By the way, Kat, are you out of country still, or are you back here?
Well-
I didn't leave the country.
Oh, I thought you did. Oh,
One could
I always thought you
argue
went to Japan.
One could argue
I'm
with
trying.
that country because it was Florida.
Okay, that makes sense now. I was just curious. Like you were like, I was watching your venture. I remember that. I was like, oh, awesome, you're doing things. And
I
then I was
can't
like, wait,
stop that.
what's
That's
going
weird.
on? I always
Yeah,
thought
no.
you were actually out there by now. Okay.
Dude, no, I can't afford shit. Like, I can't even, like, my student debt is what's fucked me over so much. When I left Colorado, I went to South Dakota.
I remember
I stayed
that.
there for a little bit, and then I did my internship at Tokyo Pop in Los Angeles. I did that for about 4 or 5 months.
Yeah,
and
I
then-
remember watching that one. I was like, oh, that's so cool.
Right? I was like, with Tokyo Pop. Oh
I
man.
was like, Tokyo Pop is back, and Cat's on the front.
They actually never stopped. They just ceased their U.S. operations. Like, their German operations are going strong still.
Oh,
They
that
never,
makes sense.
yeah, a lot of stuff that Viz publishes here, they publish over there. So, like,
okay.
Bleach is with them, Naruto's with them. Like, a lot of publishers, like, they don't have licensing in Germany, and Tokyo Pop snatches a lot of them up.
I always thought they died because they like completely disappeared from the U.S. I was like, oh no.
So what happened was, and yes, I have permission to talk about this. What happened was when Borders went under, Borders owed them like over $1 million,
Oh, that makes sense.
and so they.
Oh yeah,
had
they
to-
were on the Borders part. I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
so
were
they
the-
had-
Yeah.
Yeah, so they kind of like their U.S. operations went down when Borders went down.
Okay. Okay.
And so what happened was Stu basically like kept the company alive with his own money. They focused on operations in I forget where in Germany they are in Germany. And so they kind of like did everything over there. They worked on releasing contracts and stuff as best they could, because it's hard when you have licensing in multiple countries. Like it gets with
Right.
multiple publishers, it gets really hard, and they're still like slowly releasing them.
That's
Which
crazy.
is nice to see that they're still having to work on some of that stuff. But yeah, like that's basically what happened. Because I asked him, like I sat down and I asked him, I'm like, yo, like I need to know what happened if you don't mind telling me, and he was completely open about it. So
That's awesome that he was open about it.
yeah. He's like mistakes were made, and I should have, he's like I didn't have the foresight that the economy would crash.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I made mistakes and I did things in a way I probably shouldn't have done them. And he's like super nice. He's super chill. Like my phone got stolen when I was in LA. When I was on the bus, like it literally just got ripped out of my hand and they ran out the door. Like that stuff happens in LA. It's true. And when I went to work,
Doesn't surprise me, but damn.
they were worried. They were like, "Yeah, we couldn't get a hold of you. What's going on?" I'm like, "My phone got stolen." And Stu, I kid you not, like he goes into his office and he grabs, like it was remember this was 2018. He grabs an iPhone 6 and
Mhm.
says, "Here, I don't need this anymore. I got an upgrade. You can have it." And he just gave it to me.
Aw.
So he's like, and he buys lunch. Like he would buy lunch for like the whole office. Like he's a nice dude, and
That's
Yeah.
cool.
yeah, so he's really chill. But
Like I remember me and my friend, we were talking about Tokyo Pop and like all the things that we heard about it and like knew about it. Like back in the day when because like we all read Tokyo Pop because it was
everybody
always
read
there.
Tokyo Pop.
And we were like, oh, because like I remember growing up and like hanging out in Borders for hours, just sitting in their manga
Same.
section reading all their stuff.
Yeah, me too.
mhm,
Me too.
mhm.
I mean,
Definitely,
and-
yeah.
Like we
I was
always
there
heard like
for
it was a good company. Like everybody that used to work for them, like we had some friends that had comics with them back in the day. Like they all were like, no, they were great. Like we just
Mhm.
don't know what happened at the time. And I was like, oh, weird.
And I think
But
a
the
lot of
Borders
it-
thing, I forgot about the
Yeah.
Borders thing, which totally could
Makes sense.
could tank a whole company because they kind of did
Mhm.
have all their eggs in one basket.
Yeah, they did. And like he admits that was like a mistake. But again, I mean, how can you
Oh, no
foresee
one
anything?
knew that Borders was going to go under.
Yeah, who knew
Like,
the Borders was going to
Borders and
collapse?
Barnes and Noble, like specifically in Colorado, like those are
Yeah.
like the two biggest like bookstores.
Well, when
in
they
the-
said ebooks weren't a threat, that's when I knew. I'm like, at some point they are going to go under because at some point
Yeah.
Borders said that we don't see ebooks as a threat, and I'm like, you should.
I would say ebooks and audiobooks right now are like my thing because I don't have space anymore for more books.
And Honey, don't stress it. You're okay, man. It's cool. We understood. We knew what you meant.
Yeah, I knew what you meant. But yeah, I'm just working with Global Comics now, which is like a web hosting platform. It's a hosting platform for comics and manga and webtoons. We have like all formats.
Uh-huh.
And I do community work, so I help be a voice for the creator community, like the indie creator community.
Nice.
Sort of like a mix of PR, and then I also write an educational series about creating comics and manga as well.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, actually, I think that we should be leaning on you more. I feel like you're a resource.
Man, my connections, oh my gosh, like the amount of people I follow on Twitter and like follow me is like crazy now because I know like I can't say things because NDA, like because of my job, I got my first official gig with a publisher, and it's a publisher in the UK, and I have to letter 150 pages basically, and that's all I'm allowed to say. But it is like an actual publisher that's well known in the UK, so I'm like really excited. It's gonna be really cool. I have 2 projects with them,
Nice.
and so
Congrats.
like working this job is really cool because I get to like connect people. Like I've been able to find so many people that are like, "Hey, I need a job in X." I'm like, "Hey, I know Y is hiring, so like let me introduce you." So that's like the coolest part of my job.
Networking is the best way to get into most industries, specifically art industries.
And people don't realize that art and manga and comics, especially comics and manga, are service-based industries. Like you have to have a name. Unfortunately, that's just how it is.
It's
know someone that actually will try and pull you in, and hopefully whoever's looking will take you in. It's pretty much how it works.
The crazy part is, guess who I ran into at Tokyo Pop that I did not know was Red Team Go?
Who?
Dan Connor.
Dan Connor?
Yeah, Dan Connor works on Zero for Tokyo Pop. He does a whole bunch of things for Tokyo Pop.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was at Anime Expo, and he came up and was like, "Hey, how are my, hey, how you doing?"
Oh, yeah, he did. I forgot about that. Yeah, he did do.
Yeah, he did it. He's done a couple things for them, and I was like, "Oh, hi, Dan," blah blah blah. And then Norin shows up.
Norin Rad,
and he's talking with Dan like they're best buddies, and I'm like, "How do you guys know each other?" And Norin's like, "Oh, you didn't know?"
Like Norin knows everybody. Like
I was gonna say, Norin knows everybody. It's so weird.
Like Norin, anytime I go to a con and he's like, "Hey, just follow me," I went with him. I was like, "All right, cool. You watch my table. I'll be right back." Because he was gonna go introduce me to somebody. Like I remember I got introduced to a few people from like IDW and all that stuff. But like Norin's really cool. I didn't know Dan went Tokyo Pop. I know he was doing a lot of stuff with Archie Comics.
Well, and that's the thing is
because that was his like goal in life was to go to Archie.
We missed the AX1 launch. Oh man. But yeah, I mean, like he's been trying to get me into Antarctic Press.
Yeah.
Because they're fishing right now.
Yeah.
And if anybody can do Robotech-esque things, that's definitely my style.
They publish with us. Maybe I can help.
Yeah.
I haven't decided whether I want to get into that water yet. So
it's tough, yeah. Once you get in,
tough water, but it's you definitely have to commit once you're in because
it's definitely,
especially if you like. I'm going to tell you this guy very quick. If Norin's trying to push you into something, you definitely have to commit because he got burned really bad the last time he did that, or at least the last person I know he did that, which is a mutual friend of all of ours, and it left a very bad taste in his mouth. Like,
yeah, I know it's
for a whole year. He was
much.
I've never seen Norin pissed, and he was so pissed and so disappointed. I was like, "Whoa!"
Well, that's the thing. He keeps pushing, and I keep saying, "I don't know if I'm ready to engage in in this way."
Well, you're being honest about it, though. That's I think that's the reason why he's actually being more open with you with it.
Yeah.
With Norin, I've known Norin for a long time, and I still have to get back to him about going to his house for like dinner. Like that's somehow like how well I know Norin is. I'm invited to his house for dinner.
Oh, same.
Um,
All I gotta do is call him. He'll tell me to come on down.
yeah, I know. Right?
I love
And
it.
Well, and
what's funny is like he will sit there and he's like, "Are you like?" He asks me now, like, "Hey, if I like recommended, like, could you do it?" But like some of the times, like he would recommend me doing something, and it's not that I didn't do it. I was just like, I honestly don't want to. I don't want to go that route, or I'm just very like. You're right. If you're honest with him, he will, honor it. But like the person who burned him, dude, that's like a really bad burn for anyone in Colorado.
Yeah.
It is a very bad burn because he will go out of his way.
Yeah,
to
like
help you.
I don't know anything about this. What happened?
It was with. All I could tell you is it was with IDW and Transformers. Like there was a lot of stuff that went on with that.
I know exactly what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like that's as far as I can go within that because I don't want to like bring up that. I don't want anybody else to like, oh hey, and just jump on them.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Though you don't need to talk about it. I know exactly what
but yeah, no, it was.
We're all on board now.
Yeah, it was a good and they were doing such good work. But I totally understand it at the same time. But at the same time, I just was like.
I think a lot of people just once they get into realizing like how much work it actually is and how brutal it actually is, and no one cares about like your personal life. It's meet your deadlines or get cut. Period.
That's
like
that's what it is. That's the industry. That's most industries though.
Well, and I'm that's kind of why I'm thinking I might just sit there and put my stuff out on Webtoons and hope for patrons at Patreon and just stay.
But also. Like I mean, I understand that part too, but at the same time, like if you could build a name for yourself and then jump back and do that later, like you have a following at any time that would just jump on anything. But in that sense, though, like, for me personally, like when I heard about that, I was like, "But you're getting paid to do something that we all want to do," and
so far, a
lot of that industry you have to start at the bottom and work your way up.
Yeah, you do Patreon me, Brent. Thank you very much. But good morning, Matt. Wow, we've got a full house.
Yeah, we got a whole bunch of people today.
This is
Matt.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that I've been kind of pondering. Especially right now, I re-upped at my driving school. I'm going to go back to teaching and stuff like that because that was kind of cool and I enjoyed it. But it's also because money would be nice, and so it's kind of one of those things where I'm like, rather just draw all the time. But then on the same token, a lot of people that I talk to, they get into the industry and then they stop drawing because it stops being fun. Well,
it's because it becomes a job. Like I get that part,
and it's like I get that. Although I don't know. I mean, I don't know. So I've been kind of soul searching myself and saying, okay, what do you want to do with this?
Like, there's a lot of people within like the industry for like comic books or like for me right now trying to get into video games. Like, the art side of it, like they come in, they do their job for the 8-10 hours a day. Drawing, doing what they want, but then they realize I don't have to draw 24/7. I actually enjoy going out, going to the gym, or going outside, finding something different. Like there's a lot of people that, like in the game industry, once they finally get in and like they do like a year or two, they stop not stop playing video games, but they're not your traditional gamer.
Right.
Because they're like, I built these. Like, I don't have to sit here and escape in them. I'm building these worlds. I can literally walk away.
I had that experience with going to Japan.
See?
Yeah, because I went to Japan and was in a school, and it kind of burned me out a little. Not really on like anime. I don't.
Yeah.
Now I don't read. Like before, I would read school. Or watch school animes and read school anime like any normal anime person.
Yeah.
But now it's like, well, that's not the way it was. You know what I mean? Like, it looks the same. Everybody's in uniforms. The schools all look identical. So it looked like my school. Everything looks the same, but none of that actually happened.
All my blinders were gone.
Yeah, it's like it was just a normal school. I was with a bunch of kids that were just like normal kids, you know? And so...
Yeah, I mean, that's the same way
I
as
don't
like...
know. Like I said, I think I might just be more interested in the concept and idea of doing this on my own and seeing if I can drum up patrons.
Yeah.
I agree with you on the idea and the thought process that you want to grab a following. And I think that's a good idea too.
Ghost sounds right though.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I think that now there's a rise of independence. We were just talking about this at Wicked West.
Well, there's a big
we're-
rise in independence right now, because I also think it's a lot of people are realizing, specifically since COVID happened and all that few years of everything, everybody realized they could be independent. They don't have to rely on companies, but at the same time, depending on where you live, it could actually still be a detriment that you still need the big brother corporation sitting there looking at you while you're trying to get your stuff going. And like, it's hard. It's very hard to go independent.
Mm-hmm.
It is really hard.
Some people are able to, some people aren't. Like, everybody I know that is super independent, they say be as frugal as possible, even after you make it.
I feel like I still have that naivete about me. Like, I'm still willing to like I still want to go. I still want to try. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not giving up on it yet. And like, specifically, I'd rather be an assistant to a mangaka than to, like, a comic artist. Like, because the problem that I'm having now is now that like I don't want to say I'm finally getting noticed, because that's not necessarily true. But it's like I'm starting to network with people, and I'm getting turned away from jobs because I look too manga-esque.
That's ridiculous, because
It's
I
a weird
love
problem.
your artwork though, but
I
like
know.
if you got on as an
I hope you don't-
assistant
I
and
hope you
did
don't.
backgrounds.
Actually, I can actually talk about that, Kat, because
Mhm.
for the longest time, a lot of people saw that about me.
Mhm.
I ended up having to work with other people, and I keep getting other people jobs, not myself. Like,
Mhm.
I worked with this one, like the most recent one. I worked with this guy that was based out of Canada. I set
Mhm.
everything up. I did the coloring, and I drew this, and I wrote the story for him.
Mhm.
And like, I gave him the concept of the characters that I came up with while I was writing the stories, and he took them and he made them more like Americanized comics without like. But he took my original concept art and did it in his own way, and that's what he got a job off of.
Oh man.
And the
Ouch.
company he got a job off of is a company that is based in Canada, and it's like a more independent. But when I sent my stuff to them, they rejected it because of the reason that you just said.
Mm-hmm. It's such a
Wow.
stupid reason to get rejected. So now I have this dilemma where I'm sitting between the comic and manga industry. I don't know enough Japanese to be hired by manga companies, but my style natively is too manga for most Western companies. And that's why, like, I feel like the only job in comics that I can get now is lettering. Because, and even then, they're like, your lettering doesn't look quite like normal Western lettering. I'm like, that's because it's influenced by manga, but like, I can still do lettering. Like, just give me the chance. So he gave me a test, and like, I passed it. So thank goodness. But like, it's frustrating because like, I'm stuck in this weird middle ground, and I feel like you guys were just talking about, my only option is to go 100% indie and just do
Right.
my own thing. And here's the sad part, like I hang out, like one of my I don't know if I am a friend. He does use my first name, so I would think we're on friend level at this point. He has worked for Shonen Jump as an assistant on like big series. Like, he was an assistant on Naruto, an assistant on Shaman King, an assistant on Death Note. Like, he's worked on big stuff. And like, he he does a school like for assistants and staff, and he's like chief assistant levels, like in terms of like the stuff he works on, and like he's like, your work is really nice, your draftsmanship is really nice, and I'm like, help me find a job.
Right.
Get me work then.
Keep me working.
Yeah.
Not
It's
trying
so-
to be mean or anything, but I just wanted to pop in real quick. I need to run to the loo.
That's
Dude,
all right. Skip to it.
but it's weird.
Your husband's name's not Lou.
But yeah, it's like weird standing in like this weird middle ground, and that's why like I've started streaming on YouTube. It's just to try to see if I can, because I tried Twitch and that went well until I got shadow banned. But
Oh.
yeah, I was averaging like between like 30 and like 30 and 40 viewers every single night. I was affiliated, like I had like 200 some followers, like I was doing well. And then one day, like overnight, like literally the next day, I was lucky to get 5 viewers, and it was like that for like 2 weeks. Like I went from like 30, 40 to like I'd be lucky to get 5. Usually I didn't even get 5, and it was like that for weeks. And so I was like, what happened? So like I reached out to Twitch trying to figure out what happened, and the only thing my friends could think about is I must have been shadow banned.
That's
Okay, that's so. What is the function of shadow ban?
It makes it so that you're not discoverable and your viewers don't get notifications.
What causes that?
Usually you piss off Twitch in some way, like you do something that's against TOS, and they'll punish you. And I
And
never
they don't
got
send out an email or anything to tell you. It's literally they're just like, oh, by the way, your viewer count just dropped.
yeah. That's
And the only
literally
time people find you is if they're in the browse thing of like, oh, let's see who's all working today.
Yeah, so it makes it really hard for you to get discovered, and it makes it so that your own followers don't even get notified that you're streaming.
Are you talking about Twitch?
Yes. That's why I left Twitch, just because I believe I got shadow banned.
I
Years ago.
I researched before, like I just researched Twitch, just
Mm-hmm.
in general to find out if I wanted to stream on them.
Mhm.
I'll be honest, like the more I deep dived into that company, the more I found it was just like, this is kind of shifty.
Yeah.
Well, so my
like
feeling on all of this is it doesn't. I'm kind of getting to, because I mean I there's a great documentary, by the way, on Netflix called The Social Dilemma, and it's an eye-opening concept of what's going on with the social media in general.
Mhm.
The problem is it's a it's a necessary evil, because
Mhm.
we could go back to the way we were before, where we had to go to Tokyo Pop and give them our artwork and please like us, and then they turn us down and spend our entire lives doing that over and over and over.
But AOL 2.0, guy, we want that.
Yeah, I mean, like we could do that. I mean, I did that in the 90s. I put together portfolios. I sent them everywhere. I did all kinds of stuff, and I have a stack about this thick of rejection letters from everywhere. Yeah, I could paper a bathroom with it.
Nice.
But I mean, the truth is that I think I've sold 7 whole comics so far. That actually isn't bad.
Mm-mm.
I rolled 25 of them. I've sold 7 so far. It's not exceptional. And of course, with 25 comics, they were $4.90 a piece to print.
Yeah.
So I've made a whole 70 cents so far. That's my profit. But it's still cool in that it's moving. Things are it's a positive operation, and I have complete creative control.
Mhm.
It's like
important.
Well, I was like, me and my teacher were talking about that kind of stuff, and he's like, because he's a comic artist, and me and him were just sitting there talking about everything one night, and he brought it, like, he asked me, he's like, so what have you done? I'm like, well, I've done this, I've done that, I've been published 10 times. He's like, wait, what? And I was like, yeah, I've been published technically 10 times with comics. 5 of those are self-published, of course, but because it's the Red Team Ghost stuff was all pretty much self-published.
Right.
And he's like, no, that's a feat.
That's
something that a lot of people cannot say, that they actually published something, because they never took that step of just taking their own stuff and just publishing it themselves and trying to sell it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's a hard thing to do either way, but like
Mhm.
it was really cool.
Oh yeah, right. Brent's reminding me that I have sold 8. I believe I have also sold one.
I'm just not there to pick it up.
I've sold one technically to Donald as well.
Did he send it? Has Guy send it by pigeon yet?
Yeah, right. I got it, but there's a whole bunch of pigeon poop on it. I don't know what the problem is.
It adds
the carrier
flavor.
sucks. It
It's
wasn't.
gonna
the
add
carrier.
it brings up the value.
Anyway, it brings up the value. So but it is an interesting thing to discuss. It's how do you operate in the world where, like, everything in social media is so horrible and so awesome all at the same time. And it's one of those things. How do you broadcast without having money? And it's starting to become one of those things again where the richer you are,
Mm.
the better you become. And they've shifted where before it was the great equalizer. You know, us little guys could get out there and get a small piece of the pie. You know,
Yeah.
we could get enough to live. But we're now back to, if you have lots of money, you dump lots of money to Facebook, and Facebook puts your stuff in front of everybody else's stuff. And then all of the poor people are way back in the back, never getting seen again.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, I have a problem with Facebook advertisement.
I-
I have done it
have a
once
lot
or
of them.
twice, and I'm not even going to bother doing it a third time
Oh,
because
yeah.
I have looked at the ads that they come up with. Even if you spoon-fed them the information, the people that I was getting,
Yep, me too.
like, they're not the people I need. They're not the people I want. The people I was getting were like stay-at-home moms. I'm like, just because I'm like in my late 30s doesn't mean that I need to have late 30s people being advertised to.
Well, that was
Told them,
part of
like-
what happened with me. I went and stalked some of the people who I got through those through those ads, and one person had a picture of Star Wars in their photo gallery. I got like 300 followers, and only one of them had one picture of a stormtrooper in there. And I'm like, these aren't even geeks. You know, these aren't even, I mean, much less people who'd be interested in a sci-fi comic.
This isn't the demographic I was.
This
going
isn't even
for.
remotely my demographic. I mean, I'm like, and it's one of those things. It's like nobody's gonna follow. No, there's nothing. But I'm a Trekkie, and there wasn't a single Star Trek fan, and there wasn't an anime fan in there. There wasn't a Doctor Who fan. I had one person who had one picture of Star Wars. There's nothing wrong with Star Wars. I'm just saying that of all of those 300 people, a lot of them
Don't let him lie to you.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them were also like not even English speakers. I'm like, I'm an English speaking comic. I mean, not that I have a problem with anybody else, but my comic pages are baked, so you can't use Google Translate on them. You know, so it's not like foreigners can read my comic if they're not speaking English.
Mhm.
And so it's one of those things. I mean, I would love to do my comic in, well, for, you know, Thai and in, you know, Portuguese and things like that for all of my viewers who I know are in different countries. But the truth is they're baked, they're cooked in. So the words are they're part of the JPEG. So you can't translate them. And so it's really weird. I don't know. But I guess now I'm just kind of I'm going for organic. You know what I mean? It's like I'll work it out and we'll make this work somehow. And I'll work as a teacher until people start seeing my comic for what it is. I think I'd rather have 20 people who genuinely love my comic than 5,000 people who might know what's going on, but probably don't.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And even if those 20 people pay a whole whopping $1 a month in Patreon fees, you know, I get 20 whole dollars. I think I would rather have that than be a multi-billionaire and people just have no clue what the hell's going on, you know?
Yeah.
So, and that's what I've been thinking and struggling with Norin, because he really wants me to get into AP. And they've got this mill that they're running right now in Facebook where you just join in and you pick jobs from there and they pair them up.
Oh,
And
it's like a
then
job board.
whatever gets produced is an AP imprint. And so you get the props for being an AP imprint. I mean,
Is it just
provided
the
you're passive.
props, not you don't get paid for it?
I don't know whether you get paid or not. Probably
Oh,
get
okay.
paid.
As I say, it
Probably-
sounds like a job board.
That's not. It is like a job board, but the way that they're doing it, it's vetted. So if you finally actually link up with everybody and do all the things that need to happen, you
Right.
end up out there. And I've thought about that a lot. You know, because I could just go in there and say, I'll draw these pages for you. Because it's people who are like, I've got a script, but no artist. I've got a script, no penciler. I've got a script, no inker.
I
And,
need
you know,
inkers. I need this. Yeah.
Yeah, I need colorists. Whatever. I've got a
Shit,
penciler,
send
but
me
I
the
don't have
inking
that.
jobs.
Yeah, and so you
I
can
miss
go in and
inking.
ink it, and you could go in and color it. And I've been trying to hone my inking skills anyway, because I'm getting better.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I love inking.
Inking's
Like,
so much fun.
well, yeah, but you kick butt at inking. I mean, like, I don't blame you for inking, but I mean, like, I'm sitting there downloading your pages and studying them.
Really?
Yeah, because like totally, you've got it. You figure it
Do you
out.
want a high-res version? I'll give you some high-res files to study from.
Oh.
I would love that. And I
Yeah, I'll
promise
give
not
you
to post them anywhere or anything like that.
Okay.
I mean, I guess that's a given, but I wanted to make sure I said it out loud.
Yeah, no. If you're doing that, I'm happy to like give you a couple.
Yeah, I'm
full res
studying the hell out of your pages. I love your inking style. I love the way you ink. So, yeah, I mean, like, totally. And it's weird because, like, in our
Yeah.
group, I very rarely download people's pages.
do you use Clip?
Yep.
Let me give you a link to the pen I use, the inking pen I use, because I don't use one of the standard ones.
Oh, you know what? Or just watch YouTube when she streams. Yeah, fair. There's always-
To be fair, I usually stream really late at night because I work, I have my global comic stuff that I do during the day and I don't get off until 6. And so then I need like an hour or two to decompress. So usually I don't even start streaming till like 8 at the earliest. But I usually stream for like about 3 to 5 hours on average.
Yeah, see, we're thinking of moving this show into the night and
Mhm.
flipping it whenever I start working in.
Oh, really? Oh, that would help me out so much. I wouldn't have to wake up.
Yeah.
Well, that's.
I remember you, Brent. You used to come to my streams. That's why I was like, "Oh, hey, I already know that name," but I didn't want to interrupt everyone. to say
Oh,
hi.
you're always welcome on here. This is so for people who are here, this is an accountability. This was started as an accountability thing, and it continues to be an accountability thing. So the idea is if you want to be forced to do 2 hours of drawing, whether you like it or not, because you can't really leave, right? I can't just go, well, bye, like I can't, because we're broadcasting, so I feel kind of compelled to do drawing. So the idea was that it'd be an accountability thing. That was what Pepper and I came up with originally 2 years ago when we started this.
Yeah, because that's usually how we end up. Like, how I got on was because you guys were like, "Hey, Colton, come in on Friday. Tell us what you're doing." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah, I
And
mean,
we started talking about it, and like, no, every Friday we want you back here so we can all just have accountability of what we're going to get done every week. And I was like, "That's smart. I am sorry."
yeah, no, it's all good. I mean, that's so the whole point is accountability. So if you want to join us, feel free to.
Yeah, I think it's more like I just didn't realize. Well, in like during the day, I'm not drawing because I'm doing like PR and community stuff. So like I felt bad joining because I wasn't going to be drawing while I was with you guys.
Well, but you could keep us company too.
Okay,
I mean,
that works.
you know, this is the accountability day when we usually all talk about what we plan to do next week. So none of us actually have drawings set up, but I'm always open for you to join me at any time during the day. The only problem I'm worried about is I'm worried I'll lose Ghost Hand, because poor Ghost Hand's going to be in the middle of the night. And Hone,
Well, in the middle of the night for him, though, like right now, it's getting
or
pretty
the middle
late for him.
Be a different,
It's gonna be like morning for him if you start that.
Right, but Hone is going to be it's going to be like midday for Hone, and I think Hone joins us because they are because it's nighttime. So for them,
mine is just I wake up usually like when you guys start. I'm like waking up because I stayed up till like 2, sometimes 5 o'clock doing schoolwork.
Right. Well, and I've been thinking about reposting, so like running the show, recording it at 9 o'clock at night, and then running it the next day as a repost.
Oh, do it in the morning while you're off doing work. Because I actually am really pleased to go back, get out of here a little bit, you know, because it's been intense for 2 years, and I've been in my office here for 2 years, you know. And so when I was talking about this first, when I did it, I just called up my old school and said, hey, do you guys need people? And they're like, oh, please. And so I didn't expect that. I thought they were going to say, no, we're fine, thanks. But they were like, no, we're dying. Please, we need more people. Yeah.
It was actually kind of funny. I walked in to the rehire, and they just handed me these.
There was like, here you go, you get your job back. Bye.
These are three centers. You've got keys to them. And I mean, they didn't even slow down. They were like, here, have keys to the centers. So, and it's great because I'm not going to be in car anymore. That was really scary. Being in a car with a teenager, like most of the time, wasn't a problem. But like, they don't know how to deal with people cutting them off. They don't know how to deal with emergency situations. You know, the kids were usually fine.
Also, they've never really defined like what kind of driver they are by then.
Right. You don't know what kind of driver they are. And I didn't really kind of realize how much my life was kind of in threat.
Yeah. No, mine is, I get that part because I'm I drive for a living now.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly.
I get that part where like some people are like, you drive a little bit more aggressive than most people. I'm like, yeah, but it's also because I get cut off. Like,
it's because you're in a truck.
Yeah.
You're in a truck. Everybody just assumes trucks are slow. And then so they just work really hard to get above it.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to have to go out to Facebook. So if I drop off, I apologize because I can't actually select the things that Kat's posting.
Oh, I'll send it over to you. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. Yeah,
you can't just copy and paste it.
No, you can't select that.
No, you can copy and paste it.
I can't select it on the screen.
Okay, I'll send it over messages.
Oh, you're on the I was doing it in the actual chat, like of Restream.
There you go.
That's a cool brush.
Yeah, done.
Brush.
You definitely have like. You definitely went more into that, like Kat. Like when I start looking at your stuff nowadays, like I'm definitely like getting more like a 2022 like updated ElfQuest like feel to the art style of it.
Yeah, it's definitely changed a lot.
I love it though.
It's been like I literally sat there and was like tracing over like Yu Yu Hakusho pages and Inuyasha pages, and like now my favorite, like now one of my favorite mangaka is Takashi Shina, who does Yashahime.
Oh yeah.
I love art in that book. Oh my god, it's still awesome. And so like I've been like tracing over it to like, how do they do this? And like, how do they do that? And like just like a lot.
Hey Brent, that's actually why I'm an aggressive driver, is because I ride a motorcycle also.
You know, I gotta tell you though, as a driving instructor, if you view driving as a competitive sport, you get into more accidents. If you
no, I don't do it as competitive. I don't do it as for like a competition thing.
Hear me out. If you view it as a team sport that everybody's trying to work together, then it works a whole lot better and you're in a whole lot less stressful situations.
Yeah.
Just as a side note.
No, it's true. No, the only reason I am more aggressive than most people is because I ride a motorcycle, because I have been driven off to the side of the road. I have.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Literally chased people down on my feet because they knocked me off my bike.
No, it's all good, man. I'm just.
But no, I totally
tell
understand
my
where you're coming.
kids.
No, if you're like 100% aggressive, like there is gonna be an accident sooner or later. I'm more talking about being more aggressive of like, my turn signal's been on for 3, I'm coming over. Like, if you're the person that's trying to like cut me off because I had my turn signal on for so long, and you're like, oh nope, now I'm speeding up, like you're the
Oh, I
asshole.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Can I just type in the ID number?
Yeah.
In this,
You
Yeah.
can.
because I'm typing in GWA pen, but it's not coming up.
I've had to
if
do
you-
that. I did send it over Messenger.
I got it.
If,
Oh yeah, no. I'm doing it through the assets
oh, I
page
see.
so that I can download it straight to my.
That's a cool
Studio.
e-ping. It definitely has a very like G-Pen look to it.
It does, yeah. It has like the G Pen look, but I feel like it has a little bit more control.
Mhm.
And then my stabilizer is pretty low. I think only at a 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to point out I grew up in Florida, so my driving's already naturally aggressive.
Yeah, you have to be. When I was living in Florida, people would like drive up on the sidewalk just to go around you at a right turn. Like,
Yep.
it's wild. I think I almost died more times in Florida from walking, like being a pedestrian, than I did LA.
Well,
Yeah.
and the funny thing is when you're being taught on how to drive, your family gives you the weirdest tips.
Mhm.
Like, one tip I got while I was actually like learning was, if you're hit at a 45-degree angle at 35 miles an hour
Mm-hmm.
and your other car is going about like 45 miles an hour, you need to basically turn the wheel to 35 degrees north in order to hit the other car and go off the side of the road.
What? I'm not even
Yes.
sure what you're saying.
Yes, it was
That's
like
so weird.
It was like getting math problems that you had to solve, and like in a split second. It was super, super weird. Everyone's like, "That's not," and I'm just like, "Okay, first of all, you have to
Oh, I
remember,
like
Florida,
this.
the part of Florida I'm from is like literally nothing but New Englanders during the snow time."
Sorry, my
Oh
cat.
man, look at that.
So,
You're
But
right, Kat.
I
I dig this pin.
guys, changing the subject and oogling the pen that he just got from Kat. So,
Sorry.
no, it's okay.
Isn't it nice? Like, it's got like it has like a nice, like, almost feels like a micron, but it has variation to it.
Yeah, I can do some expression with it. I can
Mhm.
express quite a bit. So one of the things that I always have sort of a problem with is this thing right here, where
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
let up
Mhm.
and it ends up tapering too fast. And this one's not doing that as much.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I like I have problems with that one where I'm letting up on the pressure. I'm letting up on the pressure, but when I do, it doesn't actually like press. It comes up too fast or whatever. And so I don't get as much control over it.
Upping your stabilizer will help with that too.
Okay, Brent, I just want
Well,
to
I'm
say,
at stabilization
not all snowbirds-
1, so let's do stabilization. Oh yeah, that does a lot better. Look at that.
Mhm.
So, Brent, I'm sorry. Not all snowbirds drive bad, but they do block natural Florida drivers, which are already pretty aggressive. And almost all accidents I've had in Florida have been with snowbirds who didn't understand that they had to go 10 to 15 miles over the speed limit in a normal circumstance.
Oh wait,
If you go the speed limit, you will be pulled over in parts of Florida because you are a driving hazard. I
Yep.
am not joking.
I would say you guys have the mentality of the faster you go, the more safer you are.
Yep, pretty much. That's why Bill gets on me a lot because I speed everywhere in Colorado. Like I'm
Which is
still
funny because everybody in
You get
Colorado
nailed
is their philosophy is the slower you go, the safer you are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you get
know.
nailed for that. CHP does not go for that.
Yeah, no, I've only, luckily, knock on wood, I've only gotten like 2 speeding tickets. So,
Nice.
So I have to
Living
get
in
a,
Florida.
I have to get a driving report.
Living in
pulled.
Florida.
I have to get a driving report pulled, obviously, to be a driving instructor. I had to get my driving report pulled.
Yep.
And they were like, you have to have no speeding tickets in the past 2 years. And so I pulled my driving report, and then I pulled the extended report because I was like, why not? And the last speeding ticket I got was 2005.
Mine was 2020 or 2019.
Yep.
And that was because I was working graveyards and I totally was coming home and didn't realize how fast I was going because I was just cruising. I was like, yep. Then I saw the cop and I looked down and I was like, yep, we're just going to pull right over.
We're done. I've got a buddy who's a Denver police officer, and he and I were talking one day, and he's like, well, I mean, there's a lot of road laws that you can trip over, and he's like, I could probably pull over anybody for any reason,
Oh, yeah.
And I said, challenge accepted. And he goes, no, you're a problem. I would never be able to put anything on you because I'm a driving instructor. And now I've learned why we have all these laws in place and what they're for. And I'm like, oh, I get it. I get it now. I mean, there's a reason for all of them.
Right.
Not all of them. Some of them are stupid, but there are some stupid laws, but 99% of them, once you become an instructor and have to actually teach that stuff, you start to realize, oh.
I just want to point out that Florida is probably one of the few states that still has a law in the book about parking. You cannot park and tie your elephant to a meter maid in Florida.
Yeah, Colorado still has a law in its books that says you can't have a horse in a bathtub unless you're sleeping with it.
Yeah, something like that. We have weird laws too.
That's really weird.
We also have
It makes you wonder
law
because that in 1800s sleeping with did not mean sex. So they meant literally sleeping with a horse in a bathtub, which makes you wonder what the heck was going on. That we
had a lot. We
people sleeping with horses in bathtubs. I don't know if I would do that. I feel like that would be. I feel like the horse would wake up and start in the middle of the night and trample you just getting out of the bathtub.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like a bad idea.
Like Colorado has the Make My Day laws and all that other stuff, but there's a lot of weird little. If you find out all the little weird parts of it, you're like, oh, okay, it makes sense now.
Yeah.
I'm really proud to say that in my entire 12 years of driving, I've only gotten 2 tickets.
Not bad.
Because I'm the overly cautious driver. For example, I was driving through a blizzard in South Dakota. I was going 40 miles an hour. I couldn't see the road. It was night, white out.
Squirrel.
I couldn't see anything. And I was going 40 miles an hour. And I got pulled over. And the state patrolman asked if I was okay. I'm like, there's a level 3 blizzard outside. I have a Jeep with a U-Haul behind me. Have you noticed the situation?
Do I look okay?
I'm not going to go 80 miles an hour on this road, which is the speed limit. I'm not going to go 80 miles an hour with a level 3 blizzard when I have a 55 limit U-Haul with me. No. I'm not okay.
Not on this. Not on my watch.
It turns
my bracelets or anything. I'm just being.
But yeah, the only fines I've ever gotten was a speeding ticket, which I got when I was in college. I was going 80 to 65. I was mad, dude. I was so mad. And it was one of those things where classic speed trap, you come up over the hill and they're sitting there, and as soon as you see them, they start inching forward and you're like, shit.
You just start pulling over. You're like, yep, this is it.
Like, damn it. So yeah, as soon as I went past, I'm like, you aren't even gonna have to speed up, sir. I already he turned on his lights before I got to him, so I knew it was me. And he's like, you know how fast we're going? Oh no, enlighten me.
Yeah, I got out of one, not on purpose, but I was speeding just because my girlfriend at the time that I really liked, she broke up with me and I was just pissed. So I was just going, not even realizing how fast I was going. I saw the cop. I just slowed down. I just let off the gas and just like coasted to a stop, and and the cop like chased me down. I was like, "You know how fast you're going?" I was like, "Ma'am, right now is the worst time of my life right now. Can you please?" She's just like, "Give me your stuff." I'm like, "All right," handed her things. I was being very cooperative. I was like, "I'm having the shittiest night of my life right now. I just want to get home, get off the road, get up, blah, blah." And she's like, blah, 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 and like runs away, comes back like 5 minutes later, and is like, "Here you go. Have a great night. Hope you feel better, but we got a bigger situation on hand." I was like, "Wait, what? What's going on?"
That's good.
Which was actually awesome. They did that because it completely broke like how pissed I was.
Yeah.
Like I was like, "Cool, I get a fine. Everything's going great tonight. This is fine. Everything sucks." And then they just hand me that, and it broke like my mentality. I was like, "What the fuck just happened?" Like I sat there for a second as she blazed off with her sirens on. I was like, "What? What's going on?"
So
Which was actually cool.
The weirdest that I was still living in Florida when this happened, and this was like right after my my separation from my first from my first marriage.
Hmm.
And
Oh yeah, you were married twice. I forgot about that.
I was driving my mom's car.
Your mom's car.
Yep. And I got pulled over. Now, mind you, I should have realized not to really speed in front of the police station, but I was trying
One
to
could
get
argue.
home. I was trying to get home and everything, and so the police officer pulled me over. I gave him my license. I gave him the registration and the insurance and all of that stuff. And lo and behold, the backup of the police officer gets there, and I hear the police officer in the back, like behind me, going, "Dude, this is Marianne's car, but who's this?" And the other one goes, "Oh, that's her son." And he's like, "I can't give Marianne's son a ticket. She'll never let me live that down." So they gave me a warning, and I handed the warning to my mom, and she's like, "I'm going to give him so much crap and tease him for this." It's one of the police officers she would go drinking with.
Oh, that's even better.
So, like, and she's still friends with a lot of police officers because my mom actually did volunteer search and rescue coordination and teamwork for the town of Jupiter that she lives in. So,
I really like this pen. I am totally in love with this pen.
Isn't it great?
Pepper's over here telling us the whole life story, and guys over here is like, "Wait, what?"
I'm doing what we're supposed to be doing. I'm just saying.
I'm doing what we're supposed to be doing too. I can do it while talking, though.
I'm drawing. I understand. I'm doing material studies still.
Yeah.
I don't miss those. I like doing studies over every so often. I don't know about any of you all.
I'm just lettering pages.
Yay,
Lettering
letters.
pages.
Hey, it's a necessity. We need it.
It
It's a
is.
necessity.
But it's not hard. Studio makes it really easy. It's just like to be like 100% completely honest, like the person who wrote this didn't think about how many words go in a bubble.
No,
Let's put it that
usually
way.
they don't.
Yeah, so I have done some research on that, and this is a good time as any to bring that up. I somewhere along the line. Oh, so Brian says that he's finished page 15
Hey, Can.
to get to page 20. He can't make it today though.
They woke up late.
That's okay. You can do that.
I do that all the time.
Right? I was gonna say you're not here all the time because of that.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean it's so 25 words to a bubble is what that's what Stan Lee recommended. Is 25 words to a bubble.
That's usually what I do. Yeah.
And then we break the bubbles up at that point. So that's the Mark Ditko, Stan Lee, sort of the old golden age comic guys. That was sort of their sort of that's what they were kind of thinking. So I like that. That works really well for me. It's a good rule of thumb. I mean, it's obviously it's not like perfect.
That's about what I stick to.
Sorry, I was just every time someone says that, I think of Boondock Saints. Why isn't it a rule of the wrist?
Trying to see if I can find like, something recent because I just realized the last thing I posted on Facebook was kind of old.
No, not that old.
Yeah, I mean,
I was wondering. I was like, I haven't seen your stuff in a while. I was like, oh yeah.
I don't post to Facebook that much, honestly.
Oh no,
Yeah,
that's fine. I mean, the only reason I'm on there now is just because I'm bored.
I'm trying to get to the point where now when I deal with Facebook, it is legitimately just artwork, and I'm not doing anything else because I want. First of all, we are so freaking politicized that I will, if I so much as sneeze the wrong direction, I will lose half of my friends. They will just unfriend me right there and then. So I'm trying very hard to just stay the heck out of it.
I lost so many friends during COVID and BLM and everything. I was like, well, this is fine.
Yeah, I mean, and normally I would say yes, but like I do like to keep in touch with my family, even if they're and they are Texans, so typically they go red. They're Texans and they're Texans from out in the middle of nowhere, Texas, but they're not bad folk.
Yeah.
I also believe that we are being manipulated, so I kind of feel like it's not their fault necessarily. So that's my personal, especially after watching that documentary, because the documentary showed how the algorithms in all of the these online things, all the algorithms do is free association. So if you click on or look at, let's say, a Star Trek page, it will free associate to a Star Wars page and give you that. If you click on Star Wars, it'll free associate and give you Doctor Who. If you click on Doctor Who, it'll free us, like that. So it's just learning sort of that, but it's all AI based, so nobody's watching it. There's nobody actually manning the helm on this. So what has happened is, if, let's say, the Doctor Who page, they pay more money, then they'll move that in front of the Star Wars page in the free association. So you'll click on the Star Trek page, it'll give you Doctor Who first. And if you don't click on it, it'll give it to you again just to see.
Yep.
So what you'll end up with is 2 hits from Doctor Who and no hits from Star Wars.
So the thing I also don't like is, like, if you jump out of your algorithm, next thing you know is you just get bombarded with ads from those kind of stuff.
Right. I mean, like I went
like I looked into flooring for a house because my roommate needed help looking for stuff, and I was like, okay, I got this. And I looked up one place, and I was like, found what they were looking for in like 5 minutes, not even.
Right.
And I was like, there you go. Have a great day. And literally, even to this day, this was back in like October. I'm still getting ads nonstop for flooring, for housing, and now I'm getting phone calls. I'm like, wow, I really did hit an algorithm.
But the important thing, and this is what's critical that I discovered from this show, this thing was, I'm just using it as an example, Brent. I love Star Wars just fine. The thing that I learned from this, though, that was fascinating was that if you are right or left leaning, it will keep feeding you further and further left leaning and further right leaning pages.
Mm-hmm.
And so you will keep clicking on those and keep clicking on those. And that's one of the reasons why we're being so polarized is It doesn't give you a little bit of a conspiracy. It doesn't give you the whole conspiracy theory, because if it did, so the people who are paying for those ads that are pushing us further and further right and left, they're feeding it to people using marketing techniques.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, and that's actually, there's a guy that I watched a documentary. I can't remember what it was called, but it was like a very quick, like 15-minute, 20-minute documentary, something like that, of this guy. It was a black guy that he's like, I'm very left-leaning. This is who I am. Like, this is my algorithm. He's like, what I did was I broke it one day. I went, bought a laptop without I didn't even hook it up to my internet, hook it up to anything that they could trace it back to me for. And I started a whole new profile, knew everything, and I went very right. And next thing you know, she's like, I'm getting KKK members talking to me. I'm getting all this crazy stuff because of how far right
and
he went. And I was like,
it's not the fault of the social media. This is just the way the algorithm works.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that's so important, because everybody is going after Twitter and Facebook and saying, you guys need to control this. And the truth is, they're not in charge. They've set this up to work for monetizing.
Mhm.
And so it's to the highest bidder. And what really needs to happen is we need to have what they were saying in this documentary, and I completely agree, is that we need to have something similar to what we had with the television code back in the day, when you couldn't say certain words, you couldn't on television. Because what's happening, of course, is that it's not the matter of certain words being locked down. It's who can get in there. Advertisers on TV had to be upstanding companies. They had to be real people. You couldn't just, walk in there and say, I'm going to buy airtime for my KKK membership. That would never happen. But you can do that with social media. And
Right.
it will target people. So I thought that was fascinating. But the more I thought about this, the more I was like, that makes some sense. It all makes a lot of sense on the way that we are being kind of funneled. But I don't blame. But what happens, of course, is these people are using, they're using the techniques that I know that all four of us here have had marketing classes.
Nope.
And we've all learned about.
I've never had a marketing class. I learned it all on my own.
Well, yeah, but all four of us understand marketing,
right?
And how you can use words or yay, follow. Yeah. Oh, you're on Twitter.
Oh yeah, you're on. See, that's the other thing. It's like
I have to be on
Twitter too.
So yeah, I'm on Twitter.
I'm going on Twitter.
I just never I have a Twitter. I just don't use it. Sadly.
I don't know if I'm following you on Twitter. We'll find out.
I spend so much of my day on Twitter for work, and so I'm like, you know what? That's where I'm networking. That's where I'm tagging people. I might as well use it. It's not my.
Hey, if you're already there, it makes sense. If you're there all day.
I'm not following you, but I'm following you now.
I have a few friends that are trying to get
my
me to
Twitter
jump in
very
there,
often, except to broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, you have 2 whole followers, Brent.
There you go.
So, anyway, my whole thing is that now I've been looking at this, and I know that people can be convinced to buy a different soft drink by just the way the words are said, or the way that we put a cute model in there, or whatever. We can force people to do things against their will. So if they're using techniques on social media to do this, then I don't blame people anymore. I don't think that. And actually asking my conservative friends what they're thinking, a whole lot of it is, well, the left said that kittens are bad and blah, and the weird crap that they're hearing the left does. So they're already kind of being sold a bill of goods, and who knows? We probably are too.
Oh, wait.
So
I just want to. Okay, so here's the thing: is I have an unpopular opinion.
You are unpopular.
No, I have an unpopular opinion among the LGBT groups, in the sense of I do not believe in suing someone if they don't want me as their customer. You don't want me as your customer, fine. I don't want to shop there. I don't want to deal with you. I'll go somewhere else that will accept me, right?
Sure.
So I had a huge problem and I wrote into a columnist for like the new columnist to the New York Times or something, and he put my letter up that I sent him because he
Because
handles
you're
that kind of
gay,
information.
and that's a statement. I mean,
Yeah.
you're representing.
And I was told there was a mixture of people going, I feel the same way. I don't think we need to do it. It shouldn't be forced. People shouldn't be forced to accept this. They need to come to terms on their own. And then there was the other people, no, we need to do it because we need to force them. We need to force them to see us as real people, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, none of these people are denying that you're a real person. They just don't believe the same way. And we shouldn't try to punish everyone that believes that. But unfortunately,
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with you
is-
on that one, only because you can't physically change it. So
no,
anybody
you
who's
can't, no. But at the same time, like, all right,
so I mean,
if one person,
under that
when I
logic,
see,
you'd have to say
yes,
that we
but
allow
guys,
people.
here's my thing with marketing. With one person's experience, bad experience, they tell up to 10 or more people
Right.
about a place. And I could do more damage naming them and telling people directly not to shop there because they're not allies or not this or not that. You go in there, you will be persecuted for being just who you are. And that is a community thing that happens, and it spreads fast.
Sure.
Right? Don't get me wrong, it spreads really fast, And at the time when one of it happened with me in the Springs, when me and Bill were trying to set up our wedding, I had a problem with that. And we went to one of their competitors. Their competitor is still open because they are allies. And the people whom I told the actual person to was the Alliance Group for LGBT. And they didn't sue them or anything. People just stopped shopping there. And now they're out of business. No one
Yeah,
had
and
to
I
sue.
guess that makes some sense. Yeah, that's what Ghost Hand's sort of heading in
Yeah.
the same way, which is then I see where you're coming from.
Right.
You are to some degree saying let the market control it.
Yeah.
If people are going to be jerks, the market will control it.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually just have very little faith in the market controlling things because of what I have learned, which is that the market will control exactly what the propaganda lets it do. So, like
Right.
Coca-Cola, as a great example, Coca-Cola has been doing a whole bunch of socially and environmentally nasty things, but their
Yes.
propaganda keeps covering it up, so nobody knows, so nobody fights them. So
Well, we can thank Coca-Cola for a red Santa Claus because Santa Claus is actually not red.
right, exactly. But I mean, but it's sort of a thing. It's like, well, that's fine to a point. But if you know that you can get, especially what we're showing now with social media, if you can show accurately that indeed people are controllable, then it doesn't matter whether the market doesn't work anymore. You know what I mean? Like, so I have some problems not with capitalism's functioning, but with the fact that nobody controls any of the problems that break capitalism. We spend an awful lot of time fighting different things and stuff like that, but the reality is there are all these functions.
What I'm hearing is you don't like the fact that we're being manipulated. That's basically what it is.
Well,
and if you
I
don't
don't
want to
like
be
that at all.
manipulated, that's fine. I can get behind that. What I was trying to state is I have an unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
And when I posted that, when I did that, I still to this day,
You risk getting canceled for that.
I know it's not getting canceled. I was kept anonymous.
Okay.
The letter was kept anonymous. No one knew who I was.
That's a good thing because that would have been that could have gotten you canceled.
Yeah, and the
would've
guy
been
was
nasty.
actually the columnist was actually really respectful about it. The thing is he had a private conversation. We had a private conversation prior to that, and he goes, you're not alone with this opinion in the LGBT. There are a number of people
Sure.
who actually do that, and they're not all like they're not all like log cabin Republicans, which are
No.
stuff like that. They're not all like that. They're all like basically either like very open minded and everything like that. They just don't like there's a whole section that's very minute in the LGBT that when they do put those viewpoints out, they get blasted. And then on top of that, the algorithms send us stuff like for churches,
Right.
for
Because you all of a
conservative
sudden
things,
you've
and
gone
stuff like that.
into hardcore Republican territory as far as the algorithms are concerned.
Right, and that's the thing that I don't like is the thing is like I grew up with Republican parents. I understand their views. I understand all that, but my Republican parents are way more open minded than what a lot of Republicans are portrayed today, and so I just
Well, we've had that discussion too,
Yeah.
because my dad was the same way, right? Like,
Yeah.
my dad was hardcore, dyed in the wool Republican, voted for Trump, was all of that stuff, but he wasn't any of the things that we hear about from those kinds of people. He was none of those things. He was none of those racists, and he, in fact, I've told stories before about how my dad got so mad at my grandma because my grandma was being a racist twit, and she was being stupid, and he was taunting her for it. I mean, he was like messing with her because he was so over her being racist. And I mean, and it's like, it's one of those things. So
Oh no!
and
I'm
I think the
right
funniest
there with
part
you.
of that particular story was she never caught on. I think that was my favorite part of the whole story, was that he sat there and he just taunted her for like an hour, and she never understood what he was doing. It was so freaking funny. Still one of my favorite memories of my dad.
I do that to my own family members that are racist, so don't worry, I get it.
Yeah, it just was so freaking funny. But no, I think the biggest problem is, I think you are right. If you presume that each and every one of us has absolute agency and cannot be manipulated, then I think that you are correct. However, I have caught myself being manipulated after I had been manipulated for many years. I've caught myself, like from different products or different things. Marrying my wife was a real eye opener, because she is a dyed in the wool Californian hippie sort of person, and she does all the environmentalist stuff by nature. She doesn't even think about it. It's just stuff she does by nature. Whereas coming from the South, mom used to believe that there was no reason in recycling, because if you recycle, they're just going to throw it in the dump anyway, right? And Mariah's like, no, there's a recycling center here. You know that, right? And I'm like, no.
Well, and also at the same time, on the subject of recycling, because
I didn't mean to open that door.
No, because I've actually studied the way that the U.S. does recycling. I hate to say it, but about 2 to 3% of all recycling from homes makes it to actual recycling.
That's what mom used to always say. And
no, it's not
get
something
that.
That's made up. It's
actually
more
literally
true.
true.
I'm not saying
Huh.
you're lying. I'm not
Yeah.
saying you're lying. I'm just saying that's what mom used to say, and I just threw everything away. And then Mariah's counter argument was, that's fine, but that's still 1 to 2%, and that's still better than nothing.
Right.
And if we, oh well, thank you, Ghost Hand. I appreciate that. We're doing work on. I'm going through and updating her uniform, because she has the old uniform on in this multi-picture thing, and I realize it's easier for me to just redo her uniform than it would be to go through and anyway, the point really here wasn't to start political arguments about whether we should recycle or not.
Well, and also you summoned the bill.
I know, I summoned Bill. Well, and I noticed
want to put that out. It's not messages from Bill. This is
I summoned
we
Bill.
shall summon the bill.
You did, because you
summoned
came
Bill.
through a whole different room this time. It used to just
Yeah,
be
I
a
know.
wall.
Well, they've moved.
I know.
Oh,
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny that it used to just be
Okay,
a wall.
so
And he
you
would
mean
just do the
that-
whole like full house thing.
yep.
Just peek over the wall.
So, but that was when they were in their apartment. They're now at an actual house, so they live somewhere else. Anyway, I really didn't. What I
How
was
you
trying
doing,
to get
Bill?
at was because
How
this
you
is
doing,
something.
Bill? How you doing? Let's change the subject now because we're not supposed to be talking about politics.
Isn't that's not technically politics?
I don't care.
I was actually just talking about being manipulated by social media because we were talking about, and this is something, which is how is it? It's a necessary evil. We have to be on social media. There's no way for us to. Well, a wild Bill appears. There's no way for us to
All right,
get out there except through social
we're not
media.
talking about art anymore. Let's go.
It's your seat now, Bill.
Honestly, I just came in to say hi. I wasn't even thinking about what you were
Hi,
talking
Bill. We love you,
Hello.
Bill.
What's on your shirt?
about. It's a
Ooh, that's cool.
skull with
Full of
flames
life. I like it. It's awesome.
That's a very metal shirt, Bill.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wonder if it's like a metal band because that'd be funnier.
No, I just like the whole death and life thing together.
Works for me.
I like
Works for
things
me.
that are juxtaposed.
Also good. We lost Kat somewhere along the line to feed her cat.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Kat's doing. I was looking at one of Kat's pictures in their Twitter feed, and I was like, "What is your cat doing?" I can show you. Wait, let's see.
Yep.
Yeah. I think going
Are we
back to your topic about
Look at this cat.
Is Cat they them? I don't know.
There you go.
Are you putting it up on the screen?
I thought I did. Oh, I know what I did wrong. Hold on.
You did it wrong.
I did. Shoot. And that one. Oh, that's not it.
That's not it. That's the wrong page.
There it is. Look at that cat.
Wait.
What is he doing?
Wait. I'm gonna make it big. I'm gonna embigginate it. Hang on. I'm gonna embigginate it. There we go. I'll No, that went the wrong way. I embiginated Bill. I didn't mean to embigginate Bill.
Oh, it's like right under Bill. Hold on. Don't move. I got this.
Hang on, I got this.
There you go. Look at that cat. What is he doing? Look at how he's sitting.
Oh, he's sitting there licking his back legs or something.
Probably. I don't know. My friend, okay, Kundi, his cat does this too. He'll actually
Yeah,
come and like
Kundi's
sit
so-
next to you like a human and watch TV with you. He's an amazing cat. Like I was sitting there watching TV, he just comes over and like, oh cool, we're gonna cuddle, and he just like plops right next to me like a human and just kind of looks at me. He's like, sup, and then just watches TV. And I was like, what the heck is going on?
You looking at my stuff?
I'm looking at your cat. I was like, what is your cat doing?
Give yourself a bath.
Oh, okay. Remember Kundi cat?
Yeah.
He has a cat that does the exact same thing here. He'll like come and like plop himself right next to you and watch TV as like a human. Like I was sitting there, I watched his cat for like 2 weeks because he went on vacation for 2 weeks, him and his girlfriend, and they're like, hey, can you watch my cat? I was like, yeah, sure. I'm watching his cat and I'm like sitting there watching TV. I'm like, all right, I'll chill with you. And I'm like, oh cool, we're gonna cuddle because he starts walking up to me. I'm like, yeah, come cuddle with me. And he just plops next to me and does
Mhm.
that whole like looks you in the face and does like the whole head tilt. He's like, what's up? And then just kind of like watches the TV with you. And I was like, what the fuck is your? I started texting her. I was like, what the fuck is your cat doing? This is weird.
Yeah, Misa is like that. She always like whenever I'm drawing, she has to be in my lap. Whenever I'm watching TV, she has to be in my lap. She's that cat that like has to be doing whatever it is you're doing.
That's awesome. She's adorable.
So, yeah, real quickly, Brent, for Bill's benefit and your benefit, they don't have a plan at the moment of how many seasons they're going to do for Strange New Worlds. In fact, I haven't seen a lifespan concept for any of these. So, like, there's no lifespan for Discovery. There's a lifespan for Picard, but that was a lifespan from the get-go.
I thought I would say Picard. There's gonna be an endpoint sooner or later.
I mean, Strange New Worlds is about Pike, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, there is a clear delineator about when his story ends, right?
Yeah, it's 10 years from now. So this is 10 years before the explosion on the J-class cruiser. So
So
Why is
at
that a
best, they
frowny
could
face?
stretch it out for 10 seasons, maybe.
yeah, so maybe 10 seasons. If they run it for 10 seasons, that would be pretty kick butt. I've got to admit, I would be in for that because that's 100 episodes, so that'd be at least useful.
I am
Be doing 10
pessimistic.
episodes a season.
I am pessimistic in the current media paradigm we're currently in that we would ever get 10 seasons of anything anymore.
Right.
I was reading an article that was about Netflix and why they'll just kill series haphazardly, even if they're doing great.
Oh,
Why
they
kill
never go past the third season. Yeah.
right? And it's because they don't care about audience size. That's not their driving force. Their driving force is subscriptions. So if people aren't subscribing for it, it doesn't matter if 1 million people watch the show. They're already subscribers. They don't care. It's
Right.
about getting new subscribers. So that's why I look into their show.
Oh, that's why they're doing the whole that whole new thing they're doing this with the new platform right now. Getting rid of anybody can't. They're getting rid of the whole sharing system because people are sharing people's passwords and whatnot, sharing accounts.
Yeah.
They're literally getting rid of that because they want more subscribers.
Yeah, and I've been fearing that
Yes.
because I'm sharing my password with my sister.
I share with
And-
my mom. My mom's not the kind of person to go sign up for Netflix.
Right.
And
That's
Oh,
the
my mom
problem.
literally, as soon as she heard that, is like, "Oh, cool! I'll just keep watching my antenna." I'm like, "Okay."
the only way she can watch Netflix is she has to go to work, use the download feature so she can download it to her iPad, and then bring it home because her internet at home sucks. So she can watch an episode of something.
Yeah, I mean that worries me that somewhere along the line we're gonna end up with it being like that, where they're gonna lock it down, and it's only a matter of time.
I mean,
it's only a matter
for
of
me.
time.
I really I don't care either way because I mean,
Well,
yeah, I
Netflix it's their service. They can do whatever the hell they want.
It's their service; they can do whatever they want. But what kills me is there's an easy solution to this. It's called
Oh,
a
yeah.
family plan.
Mm-hmm.
You have a family plan. You can issue out to as many people on your plan as you can have. Maybe it's 5. I don't know what that number is. But the solution's there. It's been done before. Phone companies do it. Other companies do that kind of stuff. They don't want to do that. So
Mm-hmm.
Brent
judge
makes
them
a
for
good
that.
point right there, though. Brent makes a very solid point. Netflix is a different model than all these other subscription services. That's a solid point.
True.
Because I mean, like Netflix's mode is to distribute stuff and has been. They've been built off of. They're built off of Blockbuster, like a Blockbuster concept.
Yeah, remember when it was still disc delivery?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yep.
And it was only $2 a month to do like 5 discs to be sent to your home.
Yep. That's
Yep.
what we did for a really long time with my grandparents. Is she'd say, okay, you get to pick 2, I get to pick 2, and then like we'll pick one that we can watch together. Like that's what we used to do.
Yeah.
I'm still surprised the Redbox is still around.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
But I
you
don't even have
still-
Netflix. The only streaming subscription I have is Crunchyroll for obvious reasons.
for obvious
that's
reasons.
it.
Crunchyroll.
So Crunchyroll, I do like the fact that they added if you go to Crunchyroll on your computer, you can read manga.
I love
Yep.
that. I love that.
That is true.
I'm a little less sympathetic to the whole model argument because that's a voluntary choice. They choose that model.
Yeah.
And that model is less favorable to their customers. And so
Oh,
then
I
they
don't
try to
think
push it more and be like, well, why don't customers like it? Well, we just need to push it harder. No, change your model. Your model's
Well,
not working.
and I don't think
Evaluate.
that was
Blame
I
that
don't
on
think
marketing.
he was trying to justify. I think he was making an argument, not an argument. He was just enlightening
Mhm,
because I agree. None of these are good.
mhm.
However, I do think that the point that he's trying to make is that CBS has actually a drive to create new content, and they're getting a lot of cash out of Star Trek. So, And they know that if they stop producing more Star Trek, we're all going to leave. Because, like, I don't need to have the subscription to watch Next Generation. I have all the DVDs, you know? And
Well, that's the other thing.
they're
that's cool.
releasing Discovery DVDs and Picard DVDs, so I've got those too. You know
I
what I
do
mean? Like,
appreciate that.
so, you know, I only stay with the streaming service because they're creating new content.
That's the only thing that's making me reconsider CBS a little bit more. Is they're making new content and they're selling the content on high quality distributions like Blu-ray. What
Yep.
I'm seeing too often is we're going to have this thing and then we're only going to release it on DVD because only poor people can't afford our services and they have DVD players and old TV sets. So we're going to release it to them on this old format. And it's like, no, I want the high quality format. So whenever you drop that off of your platform, I can still watch it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. So, and you know, that's kind of a thought process that's interesting. I don't think you're going to keep Plex. Anything that is for life never works because nobody can apparently budget. I don't know.
I am a hardcore budgeting. Budgeting is like, dude, it's my drug. I love budgeting. Like,
Well,
I
it's
math.
I'm just referring to the fact that if you have a thing where you buy, it's one of the reasons why Clip Studio is now dabbling into subscription services.
Which is depressing. Like, I've told my agent with Clip Studios, please do not do this. Like, I'm
That's why I'm
hoping.
leaving Adobe.
Yeah, well, I left Adobe ages ago when they canceled the support for CS6 and my laptop motherboard got cracked for reasons I'm not going to illuminate. And I couldn't uninstall my serial number, and so I called them. All they had to do was deactivate it. They wouldn't do it. Like, that's all you have to do is deactivate. Well, we don't have support for that. I'm like, I understand if you can't do it, but that's really shitty. Like, so screw you guys. I'm going to Clip, and I did, and I've never like looked back. And it's frustrating because it's like I get why it's a money move, but still, it's like, no, at least grandfather us older users in, you know,
Yeah.
or like people who literally work their butts off to promote your software for you, you know, being a part of that's part of my job. So it's like, you know, like, at least don't penalize us so that now I have to pay like out the butt just to keep your software because I need this for work.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Well, that's part of what bothers me about Adobe is that they've got me over a barrel, you know, stuck with the fact that I can't, you know, the people will come in and say, I need you to convert this from Illustrator, and Illustrator's proprietary, so you can't convert it or whatever. And it's like, oh, really? So now that I'm sort of standing down from doing graphic arts and graphic design professionally and just concentrating on working on my comic, I'm actually like, well, I don't need it anymore. You know?
Well, that's the
I
thing,
really
though.
don't.
Like, cool thing about Clip, though, is they do vector.
Yep. Clip
So
does
you can
all the
actually
things
you
I
can
need on
switch
Adobe
over
Illustrator.
to Clip now for illustration type stuff, for Illustrator stuff because of the Clip.
Everything a comic or manga artist needs is done in Clip. Okay,
Yeah.
like, it has lettering, which, yes, it has kerning and spacing, it has all those things. Most people don't know that, but it does have those features.
Wait a minute. Does it have Widow Orphan?
Widow Orphan? I'm not sure. That one I don't know of. for
My
sure.
biggest problem with Clip, and now that I've got you on here, and I'm sorry for derailing you,
It's okay.
is if you make, let's say this, where I don't know, I'm gonna just raise this up here and say, quick round. That's my problem right there.
As far as I know, honestly, I don't think it has support for like InDesign does. But like, so that's one of my only complaints. But I mean, at that point, it's sort of like, well,
Yeah, but I mean,
that's. Oh, you mean like for individual words?
yeah. See how it says B and then round, Fox, J, and then umped.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I have to go through here every time and do this.
Interesting. Wait,
You
so
know-
did you make a text box first,
Well- Yeah, this is a text box.
or did you just click and start typing?
I clicked and started typing, but I've done text boxes before too.
Okay, because I've noticed that they work differently. Like for
Yeah,
me,
because like this is really hard to deal with.
because so what I do is I type with the bubbles. Like I make my bubble and I can type in it, and it won't push a single letter to another row until you hit enter.
I'm not sure I followed that, but okay. You mean when you make a bubble, like a text bubble?
Yeah, so there's
Yeah.
two different ways to add text in Clip Studio. You actually make you make a box, and if you make your text box before you start typing, it'll keep the text within the constraints of that box, even if it forces some of the text to the next line. However, if you just click, like you grab the text tool and just click and start typing without making the box, then it will not force your letters to the next row.
So I made a box.
Yeah, you make a bubble, and now you can start. You just click in the middle. It'll automatically center it for you. You may have to hide your first text if it's
Yeah, well, let's get out of the first text here because
yeah. So make a fresh bubble. Make a fresh bubble.
Oh, Brian made it finally for like the last minute of the show.
Almost 11. Oh, shit.
Interrupting real quick. Hey, Brent, I see you. I have Plex too.
Yeah.
So you make a bubble. You
I
click in
use
the
Plex,
center.
but that's because my friend brought me to his server.
So you just
Do I
click
need
once,
to be-
just click in the middle and start typing.
All right, I'm gonna let
I'm getting key
my
controls.
husband take back over. I have to get back to work.
Okay, see you later.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
Yeah, so I started typing and then it just started doing hotkey stuff. So that didn't work.
It shouldn't. You should just be able just to grab your text tool and just click in the middle, and it should
text
center the
tool.
bubble automatically.
I didn't click text tool.
Oh yeah, click the text tool, and it should automatically center it within your. Whoa! What the? Why's your text so tiny?
It's all right. This makes sense. I'm okay.
Everything's fine. Do not
Everything's
look
fine
directly
here.
at the text.
It was
everything-
set for
Whoa. My text doesn't do that. Mine doesn't do that. Mine does not jump like that in terms of like splitting words up like that. Mine doesn't do that.
That's weird.
I'm trying to. Wow. I need to figure out what's going on here.
Yeah, this has been a problem since I've gotten it. So I may have a setting, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that might be a setting issue. Because
Yeah,
like
it looks
literally,
like you have.
go ahead.
It looks like you have word wrap on.
I
Oh
don't
yeah.
have word wrap on.
No?
I don't. That's the problem is we don't have word wrap on.
Let me see with mine. Let's see text.
It says wrap texted frame, so that's supposed to be wrapping. Maybe that? No,
Might be.
no.
Yeah,
that-
there you
that-
go.
No,
yeah,
that,
yeah. Because what it'll do is it'll force you to hit enter to make the next row. That's what it does. Is it forces you to hit enter to go to the next row. That way you
Oh,
can customize what text goes on what line. And then you just have to hit center so that it'll just automatically center it within the yeah. In that sense, it works more like Photoshop. And your text will work more like Photoshop. And then there's a little icon that's a little pencil. If you click on that,
yeah, but see,
it'll
we're
bring
still
up all
doing
your
this-
settings and stuff.
Yeah, it's still having the same problem though.
It's so
Shrinking
weird.
this down and putting it so that the box is inside there, it still doesn't widow orphan.
See, mine doesn't do that. That's so weird.
This is, by the way, for those of you who are watching the show, widow orphan means this is a widow, and
Mhm.
this is the orphan.
Yeah, when it
So
splits.
widow
word-
orphan is the term that text styling uses to indicate leaving a dangling word on either side of a line. It's called widow orphan.
Trying to
And
see if I
so
can find.
if you are working in
It's Widow
Um,
Orphan Annie.
Widow Orphan Annie, the idea is these are the abandoned or lost letters, right? So
That is super strange. I've never seen mine. Has never ever done that. It always waits
if
until I hit
if
enter.
you ever, just knowing that this is my problem, if you ever manage to come across a way to solve this, or
We'll be
ask
looking-
somebody at some point in time, please tell me. This is
My
my
agent. I'll ask
one.
him.
Yeah, this is my one big complaint about Clip Studio is I cannot just copy and paste in from my script.
That is so bizarre.
I have to go in and I copy and paste it. Then I have to go enter, and get all the
See,
widow orphan.
I wonder if it's so. I wonder if it's a line issue here. That
And
might
it may
be.
just be that I'm doing the procedure wrong, which I'm totally okay with. I can, you need to do a different procedure. Totally fine.
I need to adjust. Got it.
Yeah, I will adjust. But this is my biggest complaint because what'll happen is the way that my workflow works, I write the script, I put it in, then like my wife will read over my comic and go, you know what? You probably can cut 3 or 4 words from this bubble because it's too wordy. Or, you should change this word to this other word because that's a better descriptor.
Okay, I think I got it. Okay.
She sees it after it's in there. And so I need to go in and make the edits in the show or in the page.
So when you click on, if you go to your tool property, when you have the text selected, where you can pick your font, size, style, blah blah blah. Then
Yep, right over
click on the page. It should
Wow,
be
I didn't know I
subtool.
could do that.
Yeah, so subtool detail. And then on a little box pops up, you'll see font, line, space, text. Click on text, and there should be a wrap text at frame. Make sure that's turned off.
Off.
Yes, you want it off. So there
Okay,
should be
but-
nothing selected.
Yeah,
And-
but that does this, which doesn't help because once I put it in there, I'm still going to have to do, this and then.
I mean,
this.
that's the alternative. Like that's as far as I know, that's the only other options.
Right, but
unfortunately.
and the problem that I've got, of course, is that she comes in and says, "Oh, don't use jumped, use hop."
Mm-hmm.
Like that, and she'll make a change like that, and now everything's off center again. Or maybe she'll say, Snurgle Blat, and now I've got to re-enter and minus everything because, she's decided that that's the way it should be, and now I've got to do this, then kind of get everything. You know what I mean? Like, it's if it would center inside the bubble and then do Widow Orphan, I would be able to just quickly do cut and paste.
You
it wouldn't be a
don't
big
want it to
problem.
Widow Orphan?
Do what?
Don't want it to Widow Orphan?
I
Right?
want it to Widow Orphan, so inside a text box it should Widow Orphan. So if you can
Yeah. Look into it. I'll see what I can find and see
I
what
was
the
going to say,
options.
if you can look into it or whatever, I know you have connections. Sorry, I'm getting over a head cold. Literally, that's my
You
one.
sound way better than you did yesterday. So
Yeah, I was not doing well yesterday.
Honestly,
but-
it'll make my learning life easier too. Like if I can also find the answer to that, because that's also my number one complaint is like having to like manually center everything and make it fit squarely into the bubble. Like that's my biggest complaint with lettering. So I feel you. So if I can find a solution to that, I'll let you know.
Yeah, sweet. I leave it in your capable hands. Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate that. So, my job for today was to go through here and get this character design page and make it better. And I did.
nice. Mine was working on cubes.
Yeah, you're still on cubes.
Some of them actually look great though.
They do. They look awesome. Got nothing.
Let's see here.
No problems there.
That's my needed eraser. It looks like a needed eraser, or I
It
feel
does.
like it does. And we got the
So how
gummy
you doing,
eraser.
I'm doing okay.
Well, you've
Come
got
on.
like 3 minutes.
I'm on page
Rubik's
16 of
Cube.
16 of my comic, and I'm hoping to have page 20 done by next week. So
Nice.
that is my artist check-in.
Nice. I got 3 cubes to finish by hopefully tomorrow. Then I have all the other homework to finish.
Right? I'm done with the kitty wig. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah, I saw
But
it
I'll-
last night. It looks good.
Yeah, I've gotten her done, so she looks awesome.
Nice.
And that's the hero model, so she's all rigged up. The only thing is, I think I'm going to take the shuttlecraft and fold the tails over each other in the back so that they don't stick down. But I needed this because the 12-pager that I was doing is most of it's going to take place like with characters, and they're going to be standing like right here-ish or something. Hang on. They're going to be standing here.
Okay, Guy, I have a question for you. How do I make OBS play nicely with Restream so that I can do what you guys do?
Okay, so what you do is you have virtual camera over there on OBS. You see the virtual camera button? Start streaming, start recording, start virtual camera.
Okay.
Click that, and then on Restream, go to your settings, and instead of camera, say OBS virtual camera.
I see default and integrated webcam.
Okay, so you've already clicked OBS to start the virtual camera?
Yes. So let me back out of here and come back in, and maybe...
Yeah, it may need to restart. I heard the beep, but then I didn't see him come up on my control panel over here. Boy, this is a great day, though. Look at us.
I know, right? Let's see. What are my goals? It's hard because I've got like 150 pages I'm lettering on top of my manga and on top of my job.
Yeah.
My goal is I posted it earlier, is to get this image done is my goal this weekend, to get that one done, because then I'll be caught up for my week. So I'm technically behind schedule at the moment. So I need to get that page done. And then next week, I need to have another 5 pages done. Every week, I try to get 5 pages done because my posting schedule is going to be 4 pages a week. So if I can do 5 a week, I'll maintain and grow my buffer slowly over time. I don't launch until June, though, officially.
It looks so good, though.
I can't bring it up because I figured out what the problem is.
Oh, I got you. You want me to do it? I got it.
Yeah, because you guys are I can't click on that over there because even in the chat on the side, there we go.
Boom! There's your pages.
Look at that.
I'll message you so you can see.
Oh no, it's all good. He's got it under control.
But
Yeah, my goal is to get that one done tonight. That's my goal, and then to try to get as far ahead as I can on my 5 pages for next week. But it'll depend on my lettering schedule because my coworkers are at Fan Expo Philly this weekend, and so guess who gets to monitor social media for everybody?
Right.
So I'm gonna be doing social media all weekend, so we'll see.
Brian's trying to get back through. We can see he's kind of working on it there.
I see
So,
a C.
Brian, part of the problem that happens all the time with me is there's a fight over who's got control over the camera. And so if you can, what I would do is in OBS, click on the camera in the scene. Let me see if I can bring this over here and show what's going on. Hang on. So when you're in OBS, you've got the ability to you can click on the camera in the scene and bring up its control. And then click deactivate and then click reactivate. And if that doesn't work, you may have to unplug the camera, deactivate, then unplug the camera, plug the camera back in, and activate. That may cause.
If I unplug the camera, I have just destroyed my computer.
So the camera's built in?
Yes.
Okay. Well, hit deactivate and reactivate.
I'm not seeing deactivate and reactivate.
So when you get in here on the scene, you've got sources on the scene in OBS, speakers, mixer.
Yeah.
For me, it's mixer because I got a mixer, ring camera, and then my monitor. Right, that's what's going on here. So you click on the camera.
In the mirror.
I know, right? It's so funny.
Thousands of guys.
Double click the camera, and what you should see is nothing because it's not working, right? Because OBS doesn't have control of it.
OBS has control of it.
Okay, so you're seeing you on here.
Yes.
Okay.
But Restream
all
can't
you
figure out
need
what's
is
going on.
this start virtual camera, right? You have that?
I have it turned on.
Okay. Then the last thing is to go into the settings for video in Restream, and your video input should be OBS virtual camera.
Video input is default and integrated web camera. It does not mention OBS.
OBS. Yeah. Then
So with it being part of his actual system, it's probably the integrated camera is the one he needs to actually.
yeah, I don't know if, well, I know, but I mean, I've been able to pull the integrated camera on my Surface into OBS.
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, the Surface is the same thing as Brian. You can't pull out that.
Raph will return one day. Right, one day.
So yeah, maybe probably what'll happen is this: start next time you're joining the show, start OBS first, then start the virtual camera, then open a browser and go to Restream. So do it in that order, so that the browser doesn't have a chance to grab the camera before OBS grabs the camera. I have that problem a lot with this camera. It doesn't ever work whenever I start it. So, but it's 11:04, so the show's over anyway.
That's fair. I actually got to get ready for work.
You've got to go get ready for work. Kat, it was awesome having you with us.
It was great talking to you again, Kat.
Yeah, no, for sure. Actually, I just realized a meeting I got to get to. Nice timing, guys.
I know, right? It's almost like we planned it.
Yep.
Right.
All right.
It's-
I'll see you guys in a little bit. Hopefully, I'll be able to pop in next week. So have a good weekend, guys.
Awesome.
Yeah, you
We'll
too.
see you next
Take
week.
care.
Thanks for
See ya.
joining me, Pepper. We love
Thanks for-
Pepper. Thanks for joining
Bye.
Brian. We love
And bye,
you.
everyone in the chat.
Yeah,
Bye,
thank you
everybody.
so- Boy, we had a lot of people in the chat too, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Okay. I will see you all later. And as you all know, I'm going to say, keep your eyes on the stars. Bye-bye. Computer, good night.